inspiring 8th grade science teacher. And we did all kinds of cool hands-on activities, like building toothpick bridges and making CO2 powered race cars. And that's maybe when I first started to understand that I liked doing things hands-on and maybe what engineering or physics would be about. But it wasn't until a little later when we started looking at the periodic table, which I thought was just very cool, very organized, and little things like Lewis dot diagrams and trying to keep track of these things called electrons that each atom would have, that I realized that maybe chemistry and physics would be something that I would want to do. But really what happened is later on, so I grew up in Houston, Texas, which was the capital of the energy industry, the energy being oil and gas. And I started to realize that the energy that we get as a society matters in so many ways. It's really important for obviously getting us around for transportation, but back then when I was in high school in the early 2000s, people were already talking about climate change and understanding that there would be an impact on our environment. And also people were talking about how our energy sources and trying to be independent in our energy consumption and production would have national security and military implications too, thinking about some of the wars that were happening in the early 2000s, like in Iraq. So I started to pick chemical engineering because I knew it could help me have a career in the energy industry. And I also had heard that it would be really versatile. And I think as I started to take chemical engineering in college, I realized that chemical engineering is such a great major because it relates to so many man-made and naturally occurring processes, whether it's like the kinetics of your leaves changing colors in the fall, or all kinds of transport and separation happening around us or required for things like drug delivery or our energy supply. And at first, I partly also picked chemical engineering because it didn't have any biology in it. And I didn't like biology in high school or in college. Even with some of the great teachers that I had early on, it seemed like it was just about understanding and memorizing. Like, this is what a flower is. And then I realized that nature invented a lot of really cool solutions that we as chemical engineers can use. Not only to free ourselves more from petroleum, but also to make like the next generation therapeutics and all sorts of other chemicals, including flavors and fragrances. And that's really part of the beauty of chemical engineering, is that it affects all these different industries and that it ties together our understanding of so many different aspects of science that we can apply for the benefit of humanity.